Hello, everyone. How are you going?
Good evening.
Welcome to Shitcast. We have just come back from the cinema,
Yes.
and sorry about the the lateness of how we look and are going to sound because we're tired.
Yeah, but we really needed to talk about this movie. It's not an official shitcast, this one.
Vent.
Vent. Yeah,
Vent.
that's the correct words. We needed to vent.
Vent.
Because
Oh boy.
this is probably one of the worst movies I've seen in a while. It's The Strangers, Chapter 1.
You are the messiest eater on the planet.
Lock the front door.
Why are you doing this to us?
Because you're here.
The Strangers, Chapter 1, only in theaters May 17th.
Starring Madeline Petsch as Maya and Froy Gutierrez as Ryan.
And who are these lovely young people?
They're both American actors. They're both terrible, but we'll get into that in a minute. Madeline Petsch is from Riverdale. She played Cheryl Blossom, and Froy Gutierrez was on Teen Wolf, the TV show.
Okay, so they're both CW actors.
Yes, they're both CW actors.
Okay, so what does that mean for us?
I don't know. What does that mean?
That means that they're average at best?
Average would be kind.
At best. I did say at best.
This movie is a retread on the Strangers movie that what year did that come out?
I think 2007.
Starring Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler. Movie about a couple who stay in a cabin in the woods and some strangers come and do things to them.
Wasn't that their home though?
No, it was in the
Original.
original one, they had borrowed this place. It was a relative's holiday house. They'd just come
Right.
from a wedding.
Wedding, yeah.
Yeah, and this is
And they were actually in the middle of a breakup.
yeah. Well, he
'Cause he
he'd
proposed.
and she
Said no.
knocked him back.
So this film has a lot of the same beats as the original. I went in thinking it's not a remake, it's actually a sequel, and you can read it like that, but it's not. It's a
so
remake.
similar to the original movie that I just don't understand why they made it. It's completely pointless, and you could forgive it if they were making a better version, but it's really not.
Okay, so I'll talk now. No, I'm kidding. The thing I took away from the film is that it's not the best movie. It's not the worst movie. It's just a meh movie. It's the reason to make it, obviously, is to make money. And they hired Renny Harlin, who directed My Favourite Elm Street, Part 4, to direct all three parts because they're making the trilogy out of the one story. So it's sort of like what would have happened to the Liv Tyler character in the first film if it had followed her in another two parts.
Yeah.
And what it is a guy and a girl, they're going on a cross-country trip, and their car breaks down in a little bumfuck nowhere town called Venus, Oregon, and they have to get an Airbnb for the night.
Yep, and the Airbnb ends up being this huge cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere.
Perfect place for us.
Gorgeous cabin in the
I'd
woods.
stay
we
there.
saw it and we were like, hell yeah, I'd stay there for a holiday, no problem.
I'd
It
actually
was
live
very
there.
spooky. I would live there actually.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
my perfect
I
place.
would decorate it differently, obviously, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was
More
nice.
spiderwebs.
But yeah, pretty much they get to this cabin and then things start happening exactly the same way as they happened in the first Strangers. There's a knock at the front door. There's a
Is Tamara
stranger
there?
in the shadows who asks if Tamara is there, which is the exact line from the original movie. They play music on the record. That's the exact same music from the original movie. So Warren says this movie is meh. I think it's actually awful. Because
I'm more forgiving.
For two reasons. One, it is probably the most predictable movie I've seen in a long time.
I did it.
We could guess.
I did it.
We could guess what was happening before it happened every time. The story beats were obvious. The signposting was in your face.
And I actually said at one point, I said, okay, bad guy going to show up in 1, 2, 3,
And there
go.
it was.
It was right on camera, right on cue. It was like, hold on, like this shouldn't be this predictable.
Yeah.
It was very predictable, and I'll definitely say it was paint by numbers.
Yeah. To make matters worse, the acting was just not very good. This is a couple who is isolated in the middle of nowhere, and these three strangers are coming to torment, maybe torture and kill them, and they're not scared enough for half of the movie, and they make
She isn't.
really strange decisions. That in the beginning of the film, after they get the first knock at the door, Ryan finds that he's left his inhaler, because he has asthma, in the broken down car.
Signpost.
But luckily for them, there happens to be a motorbike at this Airbnb, and he happens to know how to ride a motorbike. So
Because he's ridden a few times.
So he's going to go into town and get his inhaler and get them some food. Now, for a start, if some stranger had knocked on our cabin door in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, I'm not entirely sure I would want to be left alone while you went out to get food.
No,
We would
I
go
wouldn't.
together.
Yeah, we'd go. She'd be Pinion.
So that's poor decision number one. And after
I
Ryan,
can't drive a motorcycle though. We'd be screwed.
no, that would not end well for either of us.
Motorcycle would go that way. I'd be standing still.
But Ryan does
Having a
leave
fall.
on his motorbike to go rescue his inhaler, because he's asthmatic and he does need it. And while he's gone, this shadowy figure knocks on the door again. So, and if you're now alone in a cabin in the middle of the woods, and some creepy person has now knocked on the door twice and is continuing to knock on the door, you'd be shitting your pants. Maya is kind of just walking around the house, looking around. She smokes a joint. She hops in the shower and washes her hair, because
I wouldn't do that if I knew that there were strangers around.
Exactly. Why would you?
I don't
get in
like
the
doing it
shower
when there's the
at this
boys in the
point?
house.
And then, they take it up a notch and cut the power to the house. Ryan still hasn't made it back yet. So they cut the power to the house, and she's still walking around quite calm. The logical thing to do at this point would be to go into the kitchen and grab a knife or some kind of blunt
Anything.
instrument that you could defend yourself with. No, she's just walking around the house with her phone and a torchlight, looking for the fuse box.
We didn't actually mention this is going to be a spoiler review.
Yes, we kind of have to spoil this movie to talk about
You
it.
can't not. And the thing about when she's walking around and stuff like that, it's so damn cliched. It's. I mean, I love Rennie Harlin's direction. I think he's one of the top action directors of the 80s. Not a lot of people saw his film The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. That's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Andrew Dice Clay. It's got Robert Englund in it, Priscilla Presley. It's brilliant. Richie Sambora does the guitar. It's fantastic. And he did that. He did Elm Street 4. He did Cutthroat Island, which I've never seen.
Apparently that is terrible.
Yeah, you've not seen it either?
No,
Oh,
no.
next season.
We might have to put that next season.
But like I forgive him, and I got to say, this film looks awesome.
It does.
The look of
Yeah.
the film, the cinematography
It's
is
a beautiful movie.
fantastic. I mean, they do suffer from the 80s thing of the moon is brighter in the woods than it is in the driveway.
Yeah.
But it looks like an 80s
Yeah.
stalk slash. There's one shot of the guy in the mask, the big guy, and I said to Alicia, I said, that may as well be Jason.
Yeah.
Because he looks, and the camera's low, and I'm thinking, give Rennie Harlin this budget and the cinematographer, and just give him a Friday the 13th film, because he knows how to shoot, and he would do a better job than Marcus Nispel did on the remake, and I actually like the remake.
Yeah.
But it has that kind of Friday the 13th feel for
Yeah.
me in a lot of this
Well,
film.
there was plenty of potential in the movie. Like The cinematography was great. The set design was great.
If that was a set, then that was a freaking good set.
The sound design was mostly great, although there was a few Foley sounds.
When you stab someone, it doesn't sound.
It doesn't
not
make
that I
a
know.
sharp
Not that I know.
knife
Hold on.
noise and then a squelch sound. It's just not what happens.
And
when
a
you
shink.
stab them. Yeah.
You don't stab someone in the stomach and you go shink because that's taking
Bodies are not made of metal.
No, well, unless you're T2. And
But Ryan was not T2. That we're aware of.
No, he looked like Misha Collins from Supernatural, which is another CW show. He looked like Jensen Ackles and Rami Malek. If you mixed all those dudes together, that's what this guy looks like. And he looks like a movie star.
Yeah, he does. He's a very good-looking guy. They're both good-looking actors. But
she is very good looking.
Yeah. This guy in Redheads. The acting was so bad, though, that we thought they were European actors because this movie was filmed in Slovakia. So we thought, maybe English isn't their first language, so they didn't quite understand what the script was.
So bad because
They're American.
He has such bad reactions in the film. Like
His line delivery is atrocious.
it's bad, and like if someone says to you, "Yeah, honey, honey, calm down," and you're looking at them going like that or something, he just doesn't react like a normal person would react. And I don't know if it's bad acting, bad editing, bad direction, or maybe a combo of all. I think he's just.
It's definitely bad acting.
I don't think he
Neither of them
knows.
had a sense of urgency.
Well, he is American,
Yeah.
or is he Mexican
No, he's
American?
American.
Okay. Well, English. There's a few lines that he delivered that it sounded like he English wasn't his first language, like he was putting on.
I checked. He's American.
And I was just sitting there, and that was what triggered me thinking, maybe he's from a foreign country. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's fine. But
they had no excuse.
no excuse.
None.
And like he looked. We've got an expression in Australia. He looked like a stunned mullet.
Yep.
And it's a fish. If you want to know, you stun it with a hammer to kill it. Anyway, he was very. He made me laugh at him in a few scenes, and you shouldn't laugh at a character or an actor in a movie. I mean, I am genuinely not hating this movie. I actually gave it a 2.5 out of 5, so it's a halfway point. It'd be 5 out of 10, 50 out of 100. It would be a meh film because I don't go for remakes. I'm a bit of a fuddy-duddy on that kind of thing. I'm not keen on remakes. The only ones I liked is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Thing, Friday the 13th, and that's The Thing is 82. 82 is actually a remake, and The Fly.
See, I've got nothing against remakes if they are made well, but there is literally...
Make it better than the original.
Yeah, make it better than the original and at least make it different. But this movie was not different. It was the same, and the acting was atrocious.
I mean, you had Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are great actors. Academy Award nominated
Yeah,
Liv Tyler.
exactly.
I think she got an Academy Award nomination.
But to make matters worse, every single decision that this couple made was just...
Stupid.
It was ridiculous. It got to the point where I was hoping that they would die.
She actually said that out loud.
I want these people to die.
She did. I was like sitting there going, okay.
When Ryan comes back to the house with his inhaler, Maya has been terrorised at this point. They've turned the power off. They've gotten inside the house. She's seen one of them with a mask on.
Right next to her.
And
it was a good shock.
yeah, and she tries to explain to Ryan that there's someone in the house, that she's seen someone. And Ryan just turns around and gaslights her and says,
complete prick.
have you been smoking? Because she has. She's had a joint. And
that's really potent stuff.
Yeah, and he tries to convince her that all he saw was the picture of a clown on the wall.
It wasn't a picture of a clown. It was actually... But they did this a couple of times, though, where that person is right next to him.
Yeah.
And they do it again later in the shed. And that was actually a really effective shock. But it's sort of like, guys, you're doing the same thing over and over. It's not getting scarier.
No. I mean, I've smoked a few joints in my time, and I can't say I've ever been so high that I've hallucinated somebody in the house and hallucinated them knocking at the front door.
But it was almost immediately she took a few puffs, and then almost immediately she she saw the face. Like, it was within 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if anyone's done pot before, theoretically, it takes a little while to work.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't like go pff, pff, ah, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't hit you that hard. I mean, no matter how good that pot is, it's not going to hit you that hard.
Yeah. So
And if it does, my number is no.
he not only completely dismisses her, he convinces her that maybe she did see something.
Yeah.
That obviously doesn't last very long because they find out that there is in fact someone there. But it's just why would you react that way? That makes no sense.
I did find one bit eerie, and it was eerie in a good way, is when Masked Man, I don't know what his freaking name is, what they call him in the film, potato sack guy, another potato sack done well, he cuts, like, axes through the bedroom door where they're hiding, and he makes like a picture window in it, and then
He's Johnny style.
yeah, and I was waiting for that, which
So
is,
was I.
and I'm glad they didn't. But he just looks at them and walks away, and I actually found that really eerie.
That was creepy. It was probably the only eerie moment in the movie.
Well, I think there was a couple.
But I
When he's sitting, when she's playing the piano, and he's sitting in the chair behind her, and you see him in the reflection.
I just found that funny.
Really?
Yeah, I found it because the mirror is so big.
There's no chance that
There's
she
no
wouldn't have seen him.
chance that she wouldn't have noticed him.
I know,
It
but I
was
actually
kind
found
of
it
ridiculous.
I found it eerie. You know what I'm like. The original, that one shot of Liv Tyler walking through, and he's in the hallway down there. That to me is the most effective shot in a horror film in the 20th century.
That shot actually made sense because where she was standing, you wouldn't have noticed the guy. So the audience knows there's someone there, but she doesn't. In this movie, it's like,
It's obvious.
look at the mirror. He's right there. And then when
That's the thumbnail, by the way.
when they both realise that there actually is someone in the house, the first thing they do is not try and run into the kitchen and grab a knife or try and find a blunt instrument. They run horror cliche style up the stairs into the main room.
And she's got big boobs, so as Sydney said, big-breasted girl running up the stairs when she should be running out the front door.
And they close the bedroom door, which is a wooden door. Now, the bad guys have just broken into the front door using an axe. They've broken through a wooden door.
And it was a thick door too.
Yeah, so now they've gone upstairs and closed another wooden door and stuck a dresser in front of it, and then they just sit down on the floor up
On the
against
opposite
the
side.
wall on the opposite side of the room and just stare at the door. It's like, what are you doing? They just used an axe to get in. They're going to axe their way into the room. Do something. Look for,
He's shaking the desk.
look for a weapon. Try and see if you can get out the window. Do something. Don't just sit there. It was actually infuriating.
She was getting upset. And they do one clever thing, was they go into a crawl space underneath the house, which was really, I thought, oh shit, that's different from the original.
Yeah.
And they go under there, and they get there, but she gets a nail in her hand. Now, anyone I've had a nail through my foot. You've obviously had stuff in the past.
Yeah, I've suffered severe pain in my time.
Exactly. You gave birth.
Yeah.
And I've seen the size of him. And when you get something, it's like shock hits you more than anything. Like, I found that shock hit me when I got that through my foot, and I was like, what do I do? You know, like in my head, I'm going, what do I do? And I didn't scream.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. It's like when they reckon when you get shot, it's like you go into shock straight away.
Exactly.
And I tell you, like, she just starts to whimper and cry and like that
Make
kind of thing.
All kinds of
And
noise.
it's
It's like, shut up.
there's
And both of them are like this throughout the entire movie. They're constantly making noise.
So,
He shouts out to her in the woods when they get separated. It's like, what are you doing?
You are
They're
shaking
going to
the camera.
find you.
stop getting so angry.
I can't.
When he's actually yelling for her, there was a guy that sat down at the beginning of the movie, and him and his mate were talking, and I cinema etiquette is like my big thing. Sorry about the cat. He wants to get in. Cinema etiquette is a real big issue with me, and I used to manage a cinema, and I hate it when people talk in the movies or have their phone out or whatever. It's so disrespectful to everyone there. And I shouted out, "Inside voices, chaps." And he shut up then. But he was hilarious, this dude. Every time that there was a jump scare, he'd go, "Oh Jesus!
Shit.
Oh,
God.
shit!
Oh,
Oh my
shit."
God!"
Yeah.
Like, it was hilarious.
He was actually good fun.
He was actually more entertaining in the movie at certain points. But I don't know where I was going with that story.
But literally every decision they made, aside from going into the crawl space, was just completely illogical.
As I said to him, Inside Voices, right? These people, like the Ryan and Maya in the film, they were talking like if we just come out a window, honey, we should go to the car right now.
Yeah.
You don't say that if there's masked killers or people trying to kill you. You go, honey, we need to go to the car.
Or he'd mouth it and point to the car.
You go, you know, it's ridiculous. I mean, have more faith in your sound guy. He will pick it up on the microphone. You know, I think that's actually bad direction.
Yeah.
More than anything, because seriously, a whisper, like, unless you want your audience to get infuriated with the movie and angry, right? You're going to have to get your actors to whisper at those moments and be logical and think.
It's a horror movie. There are people after them. They're trying not to get caught. You wouldn't be speaking at a normal volume.
No, I wouldn't even like go more than this, because that's going to be heard by everyone.
But the next stupid thing they do is they get out of this crawl space and there's a dark woods in front of them that they could easily run into and hide under cover of darkness. Do they do that? No, they don't. They run. Now they decide they need a weapon and they run into the barn to find said weapons. Why would you stay that close to the house with 3 psychopaths in it?
It was a shed though, right? No. I've never seen a 2 friggin' story shed in my life that it was like, that's not a shed. That's that's a whole house.
It was like a second house.
Yeah.
That they
It was
just
like,
put crap in.
I mean, I was thinking to myself, oh, wouldn't mind one of them. But, you know, and then, you know, they do the old trick of like, I hate obvious signposting. Signposting is when you say something at the beginning of a film and it pays off in the end. Like George McFly, I just, gets rejected at the beginning of the film. By the end of the film, he's a award-winning author. You know, it's called signposting. You pay off. It's like cause and effect. In this, they go into the shed, and she goes, "Oh, hold on," and she lights her lighter. She says, "I'm really glad I smoked that weed earlier."
Yeah. So apparently the audience needs to be reminded that she smoked weed, and that's why the lighter is in her jacket pocket. Yet we remember we just watched that scene 5 minutes ago. Also, she didn't need to smoke a joint for a lighter to be in her pocket. She's a smoker. That's probably where it is anyway.
And she doesn't have to tell him.
No. Just light it and move on. Stop talking, please.
Yeah.
Stop talking.
And when she lit the lighter, spoiler, the baby face is standing right between them. Now, if I was in the darkness and someone lit a lighter, I've got bad eyesight. I wear glasses. Even with my bad eyesight, if there was someone like 3 feet behind us and there's light, I'm going to know that they're there.
Yeah. And the person wasn't even directly behind them. She was
And right
actually
next to
to
them.
the side of them. She would have been in their peripheral vision.
Yeah. There's
And she
logic
was wearing
flaws.
a big white mask, so it was kind of obvious.
It's like having Gene Simmons right next to you.
But of course, they're making noise in this shed, so they get found out, and then they end up running into the woods,
But he gets a gun. Ryan gets a gun.
which is completely pointless because he doesn't use it properly, and then he drops it.
No. Because the fridge didn't work in the Airbnb at the beginning of the movie, so she calls the owner of the Airbnb or leaves a message and says, "You need to come and fix this fridge or send someone over because our beer's going to get cold." What a fucking tragedy. And so that's a signpost right there. There's 2 signposts in basically one scene. So, of course, they go out with the gun and they hear someone on the porch. Lights are ablazing. The lights are on. And he turns a corner and shoots. And it's the owner of the house, of course.
And we both said before he rounded the corner, that's going to be the
The
owner.
owner, yeah.
because it was that obvious.
Or the guy fixing the fridge. Imagine if you were just actually a guy, a fridge repair dude, and you get shot in the head. And one thing, okay,
I mean, that phone call alone was stupid. Like, if you come to an Airbnb at night time
and you're
your
late minute,
and your fridge doesn't work, and you call the owner and leave a voicemail asking him to come out and fix the fridge tonight, I really don't see anyone who owns an Airbnb coming out in the middle of the night to fix a fridge. It's just not going to happen.
no, just put up with warm beer.
Even if
Beers
the guy
tastes like piss anyway.
even if the owner, happened to be a refrigerator repairman and knew how to repair the fridge, I don't think he's going to disrupt his night to come out and make sure your beer is cold.
No, I'd be like, I got my PJs on. You can all get fucked.
Yeah.
Because no one's getting me out at night.
But apparently the movie thinks that this is a logical thing to do.
I mean, there is some good stuff in this film. There is actually some good stuff, like the cinematography and what we've said before. But when the logic just goes haywire, and he's running through the woods with a shotgun, he comes across one of the girls. There's two girls and a guy. It's the stranger, and he puts the gun to the back of her head, right? And he says, "Turn around," and like it's an elongated. It's about a 2-minute scene. And she's like going, she's doing stupid freaking crap. And she touches the gun and everything. And I'm sitting there going, just blow her away.
Like-
just shoot her in the head, And of course, what happens? The big guy comes running up and smacks him on the side of the head and knocks
wastes
him
so
out.
much time trying to.
Give me a reason why I shouldn't kill you right now.
It's like, I can think of a few.
Just shoot her in the head. She's trying to kill you. Everyone's trying to kill
I
you.
wouldn't have even announced my presence. I'd be like, bang, done.
Yeah, we are like psychopaths, so Yeah. And I was like, in that situation of that, because there's a piano and everything in the corner, 3 corner ways. In that situation, I'd put Alicia behind the piano, and I'd sit at the piano, so from every direction, I would have a complete view of the entire house. And if they come into the room, I'm going to see them. And they would actually have to come to me, because I'm not going to leave my seat or leave where I am. So they'd have to come to me.
Wait for them to come to us and then shoot them. One at a time.
Yeah.
It is
And if all
literally-
3 rush you, at least one's going to get killed, and it'll be the guy, and I'd shoot him in the head.
It's
I've
literally that
seen Night of the
simple.
Living Dead.
But no, this movie does not understand logic. And I thought maybe, we'd get to the end of the movie and it would redeem itself by having a really gory ending. Because
There's no gore.
the original Strangers,
Sorry.
they stabbed the couple several times, but you didn't really see it. It wasn't particularly
You hear
gory.
it in the stab of lettuce.
You hear it more than see anything. So I thought, well, maybe this one's going to up the ante.
Because
it's going to be really gruesome and
I got told
really heartbreaking.
Well, I saw on X,
Yeah.
or one of the things, that it's like, this is like hardcore. This is the hardcore version of The Strangers. I'm like sitting there going, when does it get hardcore?
They stab each of them once in the chest, which you don't see. Again, you hear it. And then the guy in the group knocks, because they're tied to a chair, he knocks their chair over, and immediately as soon as they land on the floor,
Ryan dies.
they're dead.
Because he does stab him. I think he stabs him right in the under, like
Yeah.
that other film that we saw, right in the aorta.
Yeah.
And as you told me in great detail last night, it's like a lucky band,
Yeah,
and
it
it'll go
snaps like a rubber band. Yeah.
and it'll go straight up, and then you won't be able to breathe. He actually did a good job of dying. I actually thought, because he was like, and he couldn't breathe, and he was trying to catch his breath. I actually thought, and you could hear gurgling in
Yeah,
his
but he
voice.
he didn't do that till he was kicked to the floor. While he was still sitting up, he was crying.
He's a
and
piece of shit
whimpering.
actor. He can't fucking act. He's from Teen Wolf. God damn, have you seen that crap? It's
But
got
like
that
the
stupid
original
Superman in it.
movie, spoiler alert, the woman of the couple, Maya, survives.
She did survive in the original, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
Yeah, because the 2 Mormon kids
Yeah,
came around.
you don't see it. It's in a mid-credit scene, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, that the Mormon kids come in and she's like crawling across the floor trying to get to a phone. But she does survive.
As far as we know.
Yeah. So it happens again in this movie. The girl survives, and we find her in a hospital bed, and that's the end of the movie. Her in a hospital bed, literally just fade to black.
But then there
we
is
get a
mid-credit
mid-credit
scene.
scene where she sits up in the hospital bed and Mr. Potato Sack is lying next to her.
Can we call him that? Because I think
Potato Sack,
because I
yeah.
think that's actually a good name for him. Because I want to call him Jason.
I'm going to assume that that's a dream sequence because
Yeah, it would have to
yeah,
be.
she is going to be in the sequel,
Which they've already filmed the parts 2 and 3 back to back with part 1. They filmed it all at the same time in Slovakia, and cool.
But
And
the movie ended when it faded to black. It said "to be continued" on the screen. I went, please don't.
but they've already done it, and
don't-
every
we
6
don't
months
need
they're
more.
coming out, and they've got a commitment. So,
Yeah.
so I mean, look,
We'll probably go see them just for the lols.
I actually like coming out of it. I was like, you know what, part 2 could be good because they don't have to follow any of the beats from the first film. They can actually just be their own film.
Yeah, but they've still got this terrible actress in it.
Maybe she gets better.
Let's hope so.
Maybe
Let's
without
hope she learns.
Maybe without him, she will be better.
Maybe. What would you give this movie out of 10?
A 5.
Wow, you're nicer than me. I would give it a 3. I thought it was pretty pedestrian.
I would have given it 7 if it had gore.
I would have given
Actually,
it
6.
I would have given it 5 if it had gore. I could not forgive both the acting and just the choices that the characters made. It actually made me angry. Movies don't generally make me angry, but these people were so stupid that I was rooting for Potato Sack Man to stab him through the heart.
She was. It was great. And like one of the other cinema goers came down the steps and looked at us and he says, "Did you guys understand that?" And I'm like, yeah. It's not hard to understand.
Yeah.
It's just hard to accept.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like watching a car crash.
So, yes, that's our review of The Strangers Chapter 1. I guess now that we've seen that, we'll watch the sequels when they come out and then review those as well.
I haven't seen Pray at Night. Huh? Pray at Night. I think Strangers Pray at Night, part 2. I haven't seen that. Please don't say anything about it. Don't spoil it for me. You know I hate spoilers.
I can't remember it anyway. So yeah.
Apparently it's more of a slasher film. So I'll probably really enjoy that and think, why didn't they just do that?
Anyway, should we say goodnight?
Do I have to?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone out there, please, your skin is important. You need to drink water. Stay hydrated.
And remember, leggings are not pants.
Especially in the woods.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Can you imagine them wearing some Lululemon pants?
What the hell is a Lululemon pants?
I'll show you. They're just, it's a MLM where they sell really bad leggings with ugly prints on them.
Okay. Like what, with cats and stuff?
Yeah. Anyway. Bye.
Bye.